The drama surrounding Chris Eubank Jr. and Conor Benn has taken on a life of its own, twisting through years of rivalry, accusations, cancelled fights, shocking confrontations, and now a renewed collision that feels like it carries the weight of generations. What started as a boxing match has grown into a spectacle, fueled not only by pride but by legacy, history, and two fighters desperate to claw their way toward something bigger than themselves. And when the bell finally rang, British soil felt the energy of a moment that was long overdue. Eubank's return to the ring came with an unmistakable sense of presence. The crowd erupted as he stepped under the lights, and for a moment, the magnitude of the night became undeniable. The left hand, the right hand over the top, every movement seemed calculated but full of aggression. He was back home, back where it all began, and he wanted the world to know he wasn't fading, not even close. But if this night was about Eubank's return, it was equally about Conor Benn walking through the fire with no hesitation. When the final bell sounded and the decision settled, an unexpected truth began to surface. Benn, despite being the lighter man, despite moving up multiple weight classes, fought with every ounce of energy he had. The fight was competitive, tense, and razor-sharp. And although Eubank may have had his hand raised, the discussion that followed felt far more complicated. Even Eubank's team acknowledged the toll the night had taken. He was bruised, battered, and driven straight to the hospital with a broken jaw, an injury that spoke louder than any scorecard could. Benn stood at the center of it all, refusing to fold, refusing to show weakness. His words carried the pride of someone who knew exactly what he had survived. He reminded everyone that taking a man's soul meant winning more than just rounds. He wasn't the one wheeled out on a stretcher. He wasn't the one swallowing pain through clenched teeth. He stood tall, energized, and ready to walk forward into another war if necessary. His performance did more than match expectations. It shattered them. Many questioned whether he could handle the size, power, and experience Eubank brought into the ring, yet Benn matched him stride for stride. Trainers, promoters, and legends all weighed in. Some saw Benn's performance as a triumph, proof that he could rise even when the odds were stacked against him. Others, like Roy Jones Jr., emphasized the danger in fighting a bigger man but acknowledged that Benn's power made him a threat in any division. The knockout power, the explosiveness, the refusal to back down, that was what made him dangerous, even against opponents built like Eubank. Jones respected the courage, but he didn't shy away from the reality. Eubank was naturally bigger, more experienced, and fundamentally sound after years of battles with elite champions. But this rivalry has always been more than a boxing match. The press conferences and the exchanges outside the ring fueled a tension that felt almost theatrical. The infamous egg-smashing moment, where Eubank cracked an egg against Benn's head as a mocking reference to past controversies, became a symbol of their feud. It was petty, it was disrespectful, but it was also pure boxing theater. That moment alone set the tone for the kind of mind games Eubank thrives on. Carl Froch, who understood the chaos of heated rivalries better than anyone, pointed out how moments like these can alter focus, confidence, and even the way fighters approach each round. But Froch also knew the reality of size. He broke it down plainly. Eubank has fought giants like Groves, DeGale, and Abraham. He has felt the shots of true super middleweights. His entire career was shaped at higher levels, against bigger, stronger opposition. Benn, meanwhile, was climbing 2 divisions, reaching for a challenge that many warned could crush him. Froch didn't dismiss Benn's abilities. He acknowledged his aggression, his fitness, his excitement. But he could not ignore the difference in size, experience, and resume. Other voices echoed this sentiment. Amir Khan, someone who had gone through a similar experience of moving up in weight to fight a bigger star, understood the danger better than most. He leaned toward Eubank for the same reason many experts did: size, strength, durability. Yet even he stayed cautious, waiting for the way in, understanding how much a grueling cut or a poorly executed game plan could change everything. Meanwhile, promoters stoked the fire. Shalom, Eubank's promoter, spoke with confidence, predicting a mid-round stoppage. He believed Benn wouldn't survive the firepower Eubank carried, especially if they met in the center of the ring. To him, this matchup was a recipe for chaos. 2 fighters with ego, 2 fighters who don't take steps back, 2 fighters who throw with bad intentions the moment the distance closes. He even accepted a £1 million bet from Eddie Hearn, a wager that itself sparked controversy over whether promoters should be allowed to gamble on their own events. The pressure grew even heavier as critics questioned the fairness of the matchup. Michael Watson, a beloved figure in British boxing, reminded fans of the dangers of drastic weight changes. Eubank coming down too far could risk his health. Benn going up too high could ruin his future. And in the middle of all this, the British Boxing Board of Control watched closely, ensuring every step was as safe as possible. Yet despite all the warnings, all the predictions, and all the analysis, Benn entered the ring like a man who refused to accept limitations. He fought with a relentlessness that even his doubters couldn't deny. He made Eubank uncomfortable, tired, and reactive. He turned a size disadvantage into an emotional advantage, forcing Eubank to dig deeper than many expected. Even though the final decision didn't go his way, Benn walked out without the wounds Eubank carried. He pushed the bigger man to his limit, and in doing so, he reminded the world that heart can erase numbers on a scale. As the dust settles, the legacy of this rivalry becomes clearer. They didn't just fight for bragging rights. They fought for history, for identity, for something that transcended the present moment. And while one man left with the victory, both men left with scars that will define the next chapter of their careers. Before you go, what do you think this war truly proved? Did Benn show the world he belongs among the bigger fighters? Did Eubank's victory silence his critics or raise more questions? And if these two ever meet again, who walks out standing? Share your thoughts in the comments, hit like if you enjoyed this deep dive, and make sure to subscribe for more dramatic, high-quality boxing breakdowns.